In this video, we're going to be talking about the pros, the cons, and the in-betweens that can go either way right here in Phoenix, Arizona. But you're going to want to stay tuned to the very end where we're going to drop a bombshell on you. And this one that can go either way is going to have you shaking in your boots. And we're getting after it right now. What's up, everyone? This is your host, Jesse Dau and
Sheryl Willis.
And we are the Real Agent Now group right here in Phoenix, Arizona. And if this is your first time to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and tap that little bell so you're notified each and every time we drop a new video. And honestly, we are getting so many people reaching out, giving us a call, and relocating to Phoenix, Arizona, and we absolutely love it. So if you're even thinking of moving or even relocating, you've got to give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or even send that pigeon carrier. Days, nights, weekends, 24/7, we got your back when making a move to Phoenix, Arizona. All right, so in this video, like I said before, we're gonna talk about 5 things that people absolutely love, according to us, 5 things that people absolutely hate, according to us, and 5 things that people can go either way, according to us.
I'm a great arguer too. Yeah, back and forth.
So the first thing on the list, so we're gonna start off with, what do you wanna start off with, the pros, the cons, or the in-betweens?
Well, why don't we talk about the most obvious, the number one thing everyone always immediately goes to when you mention Arizona.
Weather?
Oh, imagine that, right? So I think there's a pro and a con. Why don't you go with some of the cons?
Oh yeah, so this is an in-betweener, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, some of the cons is it might be way too hot in the summer for certain people. And I'm talking like 115 degrees. Yeah. So about 6 weeks ago, it was hitting about 115, and it was very hot, especially when you're driving down the freeway or if you're on a bike and you're expecting that cool breeze, but it's like getting hit with a hot blow dryer.
It's like opening the oven door and your mascara actually lumps together. Not kidding.
Yeah, so that's pretty warm weather. And how long is it usually like that for?
So the summertime usually starts right about the week before the 4th of July. So it's going to be about the 3rd week of June until August. And August is when you're going, is it going to be over soon? And that's when the monsoons come. So the monsoons, you still have heat, but it cools down like that, 20 degrees within a matter of minutes when that storm comes in. And then you get the beautiful monsoons, the Haboobs that everybody knows about. Yeah, that's actually a fun time of the year. And that's when we actually get most of our rain, that August, September timeframe.
Gotcha. Well, how much does it rain in those times?
Oh, it's like a fire hose. A fire hose. You'll see that actually there's parts of Arizona that are heavy rainfall. We have flood zones, and we actually have an idiot law. Back in the day, there are roads that literally the wash, that's what they call it. The wash will go right over a road, and people would be like, oh, I can get through this, and then they get stuck. And so they'd have to call 911, and then they obviously have to use our services. And so they finally passed a law about 15 years ago called the idiot law. If you're not smart enough to not pass through that water, you're going to be given a huge bill. So when you see the water pouring down, and what they do in the more modern communities, they build retention areas. You new to the Arizona area, you're going to go, look at all the greenery, look at all these parks. What that is actually all the homes are built on a grade, at least a 12%, and all the water runs down to the end of the street away from your home into these retention areas. My dog, for one, loves it the day after a storm. We've even seen some kids in their little kayaks and blow-up boats. Not kidding.
That's funny. So that's pretty much what the summer and the fall looks like. What does it look like moving into like October and then for the remainder of the year, all the way up until spring training? And what is the real reason that people are moving here?
And that is the time frame. So you'll see it also in our tourism, and that's when the snowbirds come. It is considered our prime season. It's from October until April, and it is 300 blue sky days. So temperate. I think the middle ground is about 80-85 degrees, which, because it's a dry heat as well, is actually like if you lived in California where there's a little bit more humidity, it feels like the 70s. So the 80s is very moderate, which that also explains why when it's 115 here, it's not the same as what 115 might feel like in Atlanta, Georgia, right? So, oh my gosh, the holidays are just incredible. You'll probably see a lot of people wearing flip-flops around that time frame. You can always tell the cold country visitors, they're still in the pool. So by January is when we start having tons of outdoor events and festivals, and it starts to hit the 70 to 80 degrees. The ladies get their tan on, whether it be from a bottle or from the natural sun.
The vitamin D.
Yeah, but you are going to be in shorts by the end of January. And if you are an outdoor enthusiast, this is my favorite time to hike, because again, the daytime, the early mornings are in the 50s and 60s, and it warms up to the 70s during the day.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So that's what we got on weather. It's in between. Either some people love it, some people hate it. I'll tell you, it took me about 2 weeks to get used to it. I moved here in the middle of the summer, and now 105-degree day doesn't bother me whatsoever. So don't think that it's going to be this just blazing heat 24/7. So transitioning into number 2, what do we got?
We have traffic.
Yes.
So traffic, okay, first of all, we are the 5th largest metropolitan city. Did I say that right? Metropolitan city in America. But we don't even rank in the top 30 as the worst cities for traffic. We're doing actually really good. Now, I'm a local girl and I like to use the surface streets. And I don't like traveling during commuter traffic. So that would be obviously like 4 to 7 and in the mornings from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Yeah, so the cool thing and the thing I think about the traffic here is that it flows extremely well. You can get from South Chandler to North Scottsdale in under 30 minutes. And if you're moving from like the Bay Area or Seattle, or I'm originally from Portland and traffic was way worse up there, I think the traffic here is a breeze. And the reason why is because you have these amazing loops that circle around all the cities, but you also have the streets are on a grid system, so they run north, south, east, and west, and they are all within, I think,
It's 1 mile, and so a lot of you might be like, well, what does that have anything to do with it? And this is actually, it's ingenious. Remember that math class that you were like, when am I going to ever use this? Here it is. So when you have multiple starting points going in the same direction, you actually diversify the traffic, right? Mm-hmm. So not everybody is going up one main artery into a city. So you have, like he just said, we have dozens of choices from the South Valley to head north, and the same from the east to west and vice versa. And the freeway system, it is on a loop system. So it continues to loop around, and there are multiple loops. We've actually just added 2 new freeways to the greater Phoenix area just in the last 10 years. And we're already slated for another interchange to the brand new Interstate 11 that hasn't even opened yet.
Yep. And the other cool things is that the light system is autonomous. So that means that when the traffic is flowing one way in the morning, the traffic lights are in favorable of that traffic flow. When it switches at night, it now favors the other direction. And in certain streets in Phoenix, in the morning going one way, it might be 3 lanes going north. And then at night, it's 3 lanes going south.
The traffic management system, one of the other things, it regulates the flow, the volume. It also reduces accidents and also reduces emissions that are given off on the vehicles that are normally just stalled and waiting to get through a light.
Yeah, it reduces accidents here because it's really needed. Arizona's ranked as one of the worst traffic accident cities in America, and I think that might be due with the...
I was going to say, that's only a certain time of the year, and that's when all the visitors come in.
Yep. And then the last thing I'll say about traffic that I think is super helpful is that if you're driving down the freeway, you'll notice it'll say like 101 North painted on the freeway. So it tells you on the freeway what lane you need to be to get on your exit, which is huge, especially if you're not from here. When I was coming down here, I didn't know whether to go right lane, left lane, middle lane, but then I saw it painted right on the ground. Easy breezy.
It's the easiest point from A to Z.
Yeah, exactly. It's because Arizona's flat.
Oh, you know what? We don't even have this on the list, but yeah, we're pretty flat. But we don't even have this on the list, but let me point out, when you come to visit, and we hope you will, it has the cleanest freeways with the most beautiful art, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
Actually, on the way over, I posted a picture on Instagram that it was a picture of the underpass, because like I said before, I am from Portland, Oregon, where they have an extremely horrible homeless situation, but they also have tons of garbage and graffiti all over. And I said, imagine living in a world where there's no homeless and no graffiti, because they put this beautiful art on the freeway, and I think if somebody actually were to spray paint it, 1, they would melt, but 2, I think some citizen would probably arrest them.
Yeah. What are you doing?
But moving into number 3, and we kind of talked about this a little bit a minute ago, but it's the real estate.
Yeah, well, and you could be all over the board in reference to real estate. Let's talk about a couple of different things. The first thing you need to get used to is stucco and tile.
Yep.
Right? There's a reason for that. Obviously, our sun does some damage, obviously on the skin too. You got to take care of yourself. That's another thing. When you come to town, we're going to buy you some SPF, guaranteed.
50.
Yeah. But the tile roofs and the asphalt shingle roofs are going to be the two best types of roofs. And so that's why you actually see those on 90% of the homes. I won't say all of them, but wood shingles, no bueno. And as far as the stucco, same thing. It protects the home from the elements. Now, if you go in the older parts of the community, and it's kind of funny, if we go back even like 20 years ago to some of the areas that have now been completely gentrified and just refurbished, and they're just the historic district, right? We love that charm. We love those brick, homes and the things that we wanted to get away from with the modern stuff. And now that we have the modern stuff, we want to go back. So we have both. You just have to let us know if that's maybe the lifestyle that the type of architecture that you like.
Yep, absolutely. And then a lot of the neighborhoods here, which can go either way, is they have lots of cookie cutter style neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. But the thing that I think is very interesting, being from not Phoenix, Arizona to begin with, is that you can be driving into a neighborhood that's very cookie cutter, but one block over could be an entire horse community or big giant lot properties. So it really there's something for everyone. And what you've seen online, because I went through this before I moved here, there's not a clear depiction of what Phoenix is, which is why we're creating this channel for you guys, so that you guys can really understand before you relocate, like what area, what city, what town you want to live in, because you wouldn't know unless you were actually in there. But let's talk about some pools. Does every house have a pool?
No, actually, I would say depending on the area, but I would say overall average, only about 50%.
Okay, so 50% of the houses have a pool, and the pool maintenance isn't super expensive. You can either do it yourself if you're a go-getter, if you're like Bill Nye the Science Guy, you want to be measuring like tubes of chemicals and things like that. I'm not into that game. So how much is pool maintenance a month?
Pool maintenance, $80 to $100 a month, depending on a month. And they come out once a week, and that's all the chemicals. But it depends on the complexity of the pool and how large and everything it is. Yeah, you do have to be just shy of a chemist to monitor water in the heat, for sure.
You don't want to be getting that chemical burn. And then the other thing about the real estate market, and the reason that why it's in between, is because one, people might not like that specific architectural style, but also the market here is extremely hot and fast paced. A house hits up with the market, getting multiple offers very quickly. Anything under what price point are we getting multiple offers on? 800.
Depends on the area. It really does. So one of the things I do is if we figure out what area matches your lifestyle. Don't let your home dictate how you're going to live your life.
Exactly.
So again, that's why it's kind of fun to watch real estate online, but you don't know the area. And I have people that they want this house, but it's 20 miles, 30 miles outside of where they really will be enjoying their life. So that doesn't really make sense, right? So once we identify the area that you want to live in, we talk about what the median price is right then, right? And then we kind of have an expectation of what the hot market is. I would say general overall, just in the greater Phoenix area, right now the median's at about $358. Mm-hmm. So I would say anything under $450 is a little competitive, but rest assured, we can get you in, but you just have to be ready and just prepared. And I think a lot of buyers at first are just like, they're surprised.
Yep, absolutely. And then, we have very amazing relationships with everyone. They know that we work a lot with relocation clients, so they trust that we're going to get the deals closed. But Sheryl also has an amazing relationship with all the real estate agents. So there's a proprietary method that we use on your behalf to make sure that we're getting your offer accepted, which is why we have such a high success rate with all of our clients. And we also have a lender that goes to bat for you, make sure you're fully approved before making those offers. And we have a specific process that we use, setting up our Zoom call to onboard you as a client, just get to know your lifestyle and exactly what you're looking for, so we can put you in the right neighborhood that fits your needs. And if you get up into that higher price point, obviously things are going to be less competitive. your spectrum's going to open a lot greater. But there's literally so much space here, and the cities are so big that there's a lot to choose from. And the last thing about real estate market is the rentals here are absolutely crazy. If you are thinking about renting before you move here, that's a great option. You can give us a call and talk to us about that as well if your goal is to purchase, because there's a lot of Airbnbs, there's a lot of long-term rentals. But the thing that I found interesting is that when I was moving here, I didn't know the differences between a short-term rental and a long-term rental and what to look for. And really what it was is that the short-term rentals were fully furnished houses, and they were way more expensive. And the price, and say it was say $2,000 a month, it would only be $2,000 a month up until that springtime when they could jack the price up sky high. So there are little tips and tricks that you learn, but you don't know that until you start digging into it unless you talk to a professional before you set out on your journey.
Yes, yes. And rental market is hot right now too. So if you're looking for investments, we have the perfect performa. We know exactly where the hot spots are, where people are moving, and just where the demand is. And we can, again, coach you and mentor you in that. Even if you're brand new, this is a great market to be an investor in.
Exactly. Like during COVID, like it really collapsed a lot of market short-term industry, but Phoenix was not one of them. Even right now, we're in October of 2020 and the COVID epidemic is still going. But the unemployment rate here is only at 6.5%. So this market is back up and thriving, and it's really just keeping that commerce flowing in here.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So moving into number 4, we're going to talk about the
great outdoors.
And not the movie.
And what?
Not the movie.
But what that means, because I'm telling you, every part of the country thinks they have the great outdoors. No, this is where I'm telling you the best hiking with waterfalls and lakes and rivers, and you can get up in the mountains, and then during the wintertime you can hike down in the Phoenix area, see the most beautiful desert cactus that you've never seen anywhere else in the country. Absolutely gorgeous. If you like to do four-wheeling, if you like to hike, if you like to bike, if you like to hike, if you like to ski, if you like to jump out of planes, I am telling you, it is endless what you can do the outdoors here.
Yeah, there is a lot of pros, and honestly, it's hard to even put this in the one way or the other. But the thing that I don't like about it is that there are some critters and some things that some people might not like. And I'm not saying that these things are only secluded to the non-residential neighborhoods, because there's scorpions, snakes, there are bobcats, coyotes. Javelinas. I'm not sure what that is. But
I was just saying, do you even know what that is? Not the prettiest animal you ever see, but stay away from them. Yeah,
so they actually have, like, Cheryl was telling me that they have like classes for your dog to avoid rattlesnakes.
Yes.
So I've never seen one, and I've never seen anything dangerous. And I live in the middle of the city, but like up in Scottsdale area, there might be some. You know, obviously there's those. Most of the yards are gated with a concrete fence, and I think this probably detracts a lot of the animals from getting in. But you know, if you get off the path and out in the wilderness, you're probably going to see some of these things.
Yeah, and there are steps. So for instance, like the scorpions, you can actually seal your home to be scorpion free if that is a concern of yours. And why wouldn't it be? But it is something that is available. Also, I have a regular pest treatment every other month. It runs about $55 to $75 every other month, and the funny thing is after you're doing it for a couple years, you don't think you have any pests. So you're like, oh, I don't need any more. Whatever you do, don't cancel. Because the reason there are no pests is because you're treating your property. Here's another one. Termites. So termites, especially if you're coming from the West Coast or even actually in the North Midwest area, termites can be very damaging. But in Arizona, first of all, it's not a matter of if you have termites, it's when, right? They're just, we live in their world. And when they do get to your home though, let me tell you, the treatment, it is a couple of drills that they put in around your property. It costs about $300-400 to treat the entire property. You don't have to pack up your house. You don't have to tent it. There's no wood destruction, etc. If you take care of it, that is. And it's really easy treatment. And then they warranty the property 1, 2, 3, 5 years.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about I should say the benefit of the things that we're talking about is, yeah, you do have to take some negatives, but the benefit is there are no bugs in the air here whatsoever.
I don't even know what that's like, other than Texas.
Yep.
Man, they got some big bugs in Texas.
So I come from the Northwest where there was a lot of mosquitoes, a lot of flies and things like that. But down here, I do not see bugs whatsoever, and I haven't even seen a spider. So I'm sure there are spiders, but I haven't seen any bugs, and I can't be more happy to not deal with the bug problem anymore.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So that's enough with talking about dirty bugs and critters. So what about number 5?
Number 5, marijuana.
Yes. So
yeah, how many states are actually legalized? It's a lot, like 30 or something, right?
yeah, so
But they're not legal. It's not legalized here 100% yet.
yeah, so if you're happy that it's not recreationally available, then this is a very good thing for you. If you're not happy it's not recreationally available, then it's not going to be a good thing for you. Where I lived before, it was perfectly legal. It provided a lot of tax dollars. As long as it's done the right way, it's very beneficial, in my opinion, for the community. But here they just haven't came to those agreements. It's been on the ballot, I'm sure, a couple of times.
It has, and actually, being a voter here in Arizona for many years, Arizona saw kind of what was happening, what didn't go right in some of the states. And so they've been very particular about how that law is written. And to be honest with you, this last time we voted on it, I was surprised it didn't pass, but there was literally just a couple of clauses that enough voters weren't comfortable with it. I'm pretty sure it's going to pass this time because they have worked very diligently to make sure that those items were addressed.
Exactly. So obviously that's the top 5 things of the top items that could go one way or the other. We hope you guys are enjoying this video. If you like what you're seeing, hit that subscribe button. If you don't like what you're seeing, hit that dislike button. Otherwise, drop a comment. Let us know of things that you find that could go either way. But right now, we are getting into the 5 things that people absolutely love about Arizona.
This is the best part. Absolutely the best part. The number one thing I love about Arizona is there is so much food, events, live music, social events, festivals, concerts. It is endless 10 months out of the year.
Yes, absolutely. Me being from Portland, it's supposedly the foodie city of America. I will tell you, I've had way more quality dining experiences down here, and there's so many more. I just can't believe the endless amounts of food options. There's actually a lot of food bloggers that are from the Phoenix area. So if you just go onto Instagram or Facebook and type in anything that has to do with Phoenix food, you're gonna find them. There's also Phoenix Eater. But if you need a great recommendation for a fantastic place to eat, you can always text us on the number down below and we'll point you in the right direction. Even when people come out here to stay, some of the hotels have the most world-class restaurants and spas. So, a lot of people stay at Airbnbs, but even when my friends come to visit, I always tell them, hey, why don't you guys stay at one of the most world-renowned hotels for a night just to get that resort experience.
Oh, the resorts here are unbelievable.
Yep.
World class.
And then obviously we have we got like multiple major sports teams. We got the Cardinals, the Suns, the Diamondbacks.
We have the Coyotes, we have women's basketball, and then we have the Barrett-Jackson, literally hundreds of thousands, $1 million vehicles. We have the Waste Management Open that Phoenix is so well known for. Then we have spring training where we have 12 teams that come here. It is insane.
The Cactus League.
Oh, yes, it is. Yes. And then it just kind of goes from there. We have, that's our festival season. There's everything from the rock and roll marathons, there's chili cook-offs, there's different types of cultural events, just literally ostrich festival, only in Arizona.
So there are so many amazing events here. That's one thing that I'm super excited about living in Phoenix, is there is something almost going on every single day of the entire year. And if it's not outdoor, they have lots of things going on indoor as well when those days are extremely hot. So if you have kids and they want to go to the skate park, there's indoor skate parks, there's indoor trampoline parks, there's indoor parkour parks. There's so many different things for everyone. Even the doggy daycares are amazing.
Yeah, they have indoor, outdoor doggy daycares. Does that make sense? Yeah.
So with that said, let's move into number 2.
Yes, this is the most convenient city ever. I'm not kidding. There's grocery stores within a couple miles. There's gas station. There's car washes. There's shopping malls. There's restaurants. It's never ending. Super convenient.
Yep, absolutely. So that is the number 2 item, was convenience. Everything that you need is within typically a 5 to 10 minute drive. And even like I said earlier, even if you did have to drive all the way across town, it's probably gonna be no more than a 30-minute drive. So I think if you're looking for a community to live in and do everything in and have a great lifestyle, whether it's golf, going out to dinner with friends, family, kids events, this is the place for you. But moving into number 3, what do we got?
Quality of life.
Yes, quality of life here is absolutely amazing. It is very, there's so much space. I think it has to do a lot too with how wide everything is and so spread out and spacious. It doesn't feel like you're jammed up, and it doesn't feel like everything is super dense. If you're in those cities like Seattle, San Francisco, New York City, Chicago, everything is just a cluster and they can only build vertical. But since Phoenix is very sprawled out, it's very wide, and even the roadways are extremely wide.
Yes.
What's your take on the quality of life?
Oh gosh, it just I was able to walk my kids to school, and just the flexibility. I think it's just kind of more, it's still obviously, it's very business oriented, but everybody here just kind of takes things, just at a slower pace, quality family time. It's really important here. People here tend to also just be calmer. This kind of goes back to the traffic. We don't have people honking. We don't have road rage. People smile and say hello. They help each other out all the time. It's just friendlier.
Yeah, the one thing I will say, is that the thing that I instantly identified when I came here is that people are absolutely very friendly. And I come from the Northwest, where people are supposedly the friendliest, but I don't think that's true. The people down here are extremely friendly. They're extremely helpful. They're very professional. And she says that they're laid back. Yes, they are laid back, but people hustle down here, like when they're working. Yeah. So if people know their role, essentially. So if they're on the job, they're gonna work and they're gonna get it done quickly, and they're there to help you. But when it's off time, yeah, people are laid back. And like I said, I think this space has a lot to do with a lot of that, and obviously the nice weather. It's known that if it's darker and gloomy, people's moods are typically dark and, a little bit less excited. But since it's so hot here and so warm all the time, why wouldn't you be happy?
And it's really, we're not that dense of a population. We're almost 7 million people. But for instance, when you're going to the store, it's not a matter of walking 5-10 minutes to the front store. It's, do you take the spot number 2 or spot number 4? And then when you get in, there's plenty of people to help you, and things are organized. The aisles are wider. The buildings are newer. There's just freshness, freedom. I don't even know, you feel it when you get here.
Yeah, even the air smells good here.
It does.
So yeah, speaking of spot number 2 or spot number 4, let's move into number 4. What is it?
Cost of living. Maybe that has a lot to do with it, right?
Probably.
Right, you're not working to live, you're living to work, right? You're enjoying your life because your housing isn't taking your whole paycheck.
Exactly, yeah. In California, you're from California, and I work with a lot of people relocating from California, and I will say that people from, if you are relocating from California, your mortgage is probably close to $1 million or more. Your lifestyle is very, very different than what it is here. You're up in that traffic, you're hustling, you're on the grind 24/7. People are competing all the time, and you have to really watch out for yourself. Down here, it's completely the opposite. It's very, chilled, but with the cost of living being inexpensive, a house that you pay $1 million for in California down here might be $450, depending on where you're moving. Obviously, we have the more luxurious communities and neighborhoods that are extremely exclusive. But I was looking at some $2 million houses today, and that's you're basically getting a private exclusive compound that is a mansion, that's probably not needed by a lot of people.
Right. And, again, because your housing doesn't eat up everything, you have more time and money to do the things for yourself, your family. You can spend time. We have a lot of spas. People take good care of themselves. It's a very healthy environment as well. People are very aware. We have a lot of restaurants, like you said, but you would be surprised they're not corporate restaurants, and
Yep.
they're not fast food restaurants. So a healthier living, we have gyms on every corner, which is moderately priced. Again, not compared to California, and they're not overcrowded with a bunch of people. Property taxes, whew, what a difference. Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, the property taxes here are actually lower than the national average, which is really nice. So if you are looking at moving, just know that the property taxes here on average are lower than the rest of the United States.
You know, and other things too. Groceries are less expensive. Getting
Gas.
your hairs done. Oh my gosh. Getting your hairs done, by the way. Yeah, gas is crazy low. It was actually, I paid $2.09. I know, right? About $2.09
A gallon?
the other day. A gallon.
Yeah, it's cheap.
Right? Dry cleaning is less expensive. You know, most of the stuff you buy retail, it's going to be similar. Sales tax is a little bit lower in different parts. There's actually different parts of town that you can get 8% versus 8.5%. Income tax is one of the lowest actually as well here in Arizona. Arizona is actually rated as one of the best states to retire in for the tax reasons.
Yep. Yeah, they're very tax friendly here, and they're very business friendly as well. If you are a business owner and you're looking to relocate here, obviously there's other states out there like Nevada, Tennessee, and Texas that have no state income tax, which are very, very business friendly states. But if you're looking to move to a state that has great way of life, and you do have to pay a little bit of tax, Arizona is a fantastic option. But moving over into number 5, what do we got?
We actually have amazing healthcare here in the state of Arizona.
Yeah, so the healthcare that I see everywhere is Banner Health.
Banner is very prominent here for sure. But you know, some of the other facilities that we are world renowned for is Mayo Clinic.
Yep.
We also have Ironwood Cancer Centers, and we have Phoenix Children's Hospital. And there's people that come in from all over the world to Arizona for this world-class treatment.
Yep, yeah, when you're driving around, depending where you're at, I mean, you're gonna see hospitals or medical centers almost everywhere. Like Sheryl mentioned earlier too, there's also like a lot of health spas, there's a lot of massage places, there's fitness galore. So, I mean, they are a very health-focused community and city. So if fitness and health and medical is very important to you, this is definitely a spot that you want to check out. And that really wraps up our top 5 things of all of the pros. Like I said before, if you're liking what we say, just go ahead and smash that like button. But let's get into the things that are probably going to be the most controversial. They're going to be the cons, and these are what her and I thought were the cons. You might have a different thought of what you don't think is very suitable for Arizona. So if we missed something, tell us down below. We'd like to hear back from you guys. But without further ado, what do we got? Number 1.
What I don't like about Arizona is the lack of flowers. Like when I go back to California, my mom was like, when did this happen? I want to go to the rose garden. I just want to see beautiful flowers.
Yeah, so that's the one thing that was very shocking to me coming here, was that I originally first thought I wanted to live in Scottsdale, which almost every single person that reaches out to us does, because I envisioned Beverly Hills of Arizona. But when I got up there, it was very desert-like. And the one thing I didn't realize is that people go to work and then they want to be out in their like secluded desert style of living, which is great. But I was like, I cannot stand being somewhere that there's no greenery. So I ended up moving more into the city where there is a lot of greenery, palm trees, cactuses, and things like that. But to your point, there's not a lot of like wildflowers. There's not really many super tall trees. You can pretty much see everywhere. It's very low grade vegetation.
Yeah. And actually it is low care maintenance and low cost maintenance if you do the desert landscaping. So I actually, moving from California, I wanted green. So I have a front lawn and a back lawn.
So do I. And I'll tell you right now that I am so surprised that the grass does not burn. I call it desert grass, and I do not know why it's not everywhere else, but it sustains very well.
Well, wait until October, because see, this is the time of the year, and this is how we're going to help you to adjust to Arizona. We actually have seasonal grass. So your summer grass, that's what we call it, your summer grass is going to die off here pretty soon. And then you're going to actually replant your winter grass, which is called winter rye. But you don't have to, because some people actually opt in for something a little bit water conservative, and so they let their summer grass die. It turns brown for the winter, but then come spring.
Who would have known? So you do see some lawns that are brown. now I know that's a winter grass lawn.
There you go.
I don't know. I would just mix it up and throw it all out there and see what happens.
Yeah, and that kind of goes to, like if you love planting vegetables, and I'm not saying you can't, but you got to have a good green thumb to grow fresh vegetables and a garden in here. I'm boring him.
No, you're not boring me. I just heard planting something and I'm like, all right, that's not my style of living. It's called Whole Foods and Bashes, let's be real.
And we do have lots of Whole Foods and Sprouts.
And Bashes.
And nobody out there knows what Bashes is.
Well,
so Basha was actually one of the founding families in Arizona. They are still around today. So they are a grocery market chain. Basha's has 3 levels. They have their food city, that's kind of more of the bargain value kind of shopper. Then we have Basha's, which is middle of the road, just kind of your middle of the road. Well, I guess that's what that means, right? And then the third one is AJ's Fine Foods, and that is the top of the line. Yes, absolutely amazing. You can get fresh crab and pick which one you want out, and they'll actually cut it and butter it for you and everything.
Will they feed it to me?
If you wanted, probably. Yeah, it's amazing. You gotta check them out.
Cool. So moving into the next one, what number are we at? 2?
Yes, 2. Oh yeah. So again, coming from the Bay Area, massive public transportation. Not so much here. Now we got some serious catching up to do in the greater Phoenix area. Yeah,
I will agree with her. It is, as far as like public transit goes across the country, it's probably the worst I've ever seen. There's only like one train here, right? Or light rail?
Yeah, we call it a light rail, and we're still kind of building it, right? So it doesn't have a very long reach. Yeah, I don't even know what you call it.
Train system.
Yeah, it doesn't have a great train system yet. So you should be a part of it so you can see it come to life. But you know what we do have? Not only do we have a ton of Ubers and Lyfts, we're also the test ground for completely autonomous vehicles, and that would be the driverless Waymo vehicles that are now being rolled out in other cities across the country. So we have that. Does that count?
Yeah, it counts. I mean, I'll say like the like Uber Eats, Waymo, like everything. The public transportation or ride-sharing services are super fast here, which obviously doesn't make up for no transportation. But imagine this, and this is the thing that is kind of mind-blowing. It's one of the best traffic cities in America, but is one of the biggest cities in America without all this public transportation. So imagine if it did have a massive amount of public transportation. There isn't a giant need for it, so therefore that's why it hasn't just really been put into production. But eventually, as the world continuously grows and gets bigger, and we become more of an earth-conscious city and more green, things will start to be implemented. We already see it now, and eventually, there will be more public transportation systems.
So you need a vehicle. Yeah. We're not a hugely walkable community. Each city within the greater Phoenix area has a downtown area. But you can't go from downtown to downtown.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. There are certain specific walkable areas like downtown Tempe and things like that I absolutely love. Yep. But other than that, let's move into number 3. What do we got?
Number 3 is snowbirds and the tourism.
Yep. So right now we're just cresting into October. We're gonna start seeing those airports fill up with snowbirds. People coming south for the wintertime. The rec rate might start going up. What's another couple things that are going to happen when this influx happens?
So we're going to see a lot more of tourism. We're going to see people coming in, and so we're going to see rental cars. We're going to see a little bit more congestion. But the positive of that, it's also when we also generate more than $2 billion in tax revenue for those 4 months. So it's a little bit of an inconvenience. You have maybe a little bit longer line at the movie theater or maybe the grocery store, but it has a big return for us, again, tax dollars.
Exactly. So moving into number 4, speaking of tax dollars, public schools.
Yeah. We know. We're not even.
Phoenix actually ranks almost in a lot of, for major metro cities, as one of the lowest producing school rating systems out there.
Yeah.
But with that said, what do they have to combat that?
Yeah, so the city, the county, and the state make money available for some of the charter schools. So the charter schools, which is they're pulling from that funding, but they also take donations and contributions from the families. It's not required, and so these schools are still at no charge if the family would like, and a lot of families don't know that. So not only do we have the public system that we seem to be so public on, meaning nationally, but we do have a lot of charter schools and a ton of top-notch private schools.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of colleges too. You have Arizona State University, University of Arizona, you got a bunch of community colleges.
Grand Canyon.
Yep. And so yeah, you know, the one thing that Arizona does right is, I don't even know what I was gonna say there. Okay, let me...
Options.
Oh no. Yeah, so there's a lot of, you know, higher education options. But if education is important to you, which if you have a family, I'm sure it is, then we just have to show you exactly what the right areas are and what schools are available for you and your family to make sure you're getting the education that you want and need. Therefore, you guys are taken care of and everything is set to go. But moving into number 5, what do we got?
The very last part is it's dusty. Like gritty dusty. Like you always kind of need to wash your car, but that's why literally 80% of the vehicles out there are white.
Yep. Yeah.
Because you can't see the dirt.
Exactly. Yeah. There's tons of dust on everything here. It's not like you're walking into a dust storm, but when you wash your car, it's very dusty within a couple days. But there's car washes on every corner, as well as gas stations, as well as Circle K's. So if you need to get a quick wash, heck, you can just go in, fill up your gas tank. If you don't need to fill up your gas tank, you can get a car wash. It's something like I've never seen before. So with that said, the dust is definitely going to get to you regardless.
Yeah. You know what though? Allergies are totally different out here too. I don't want to say it's no allergies. It's just the allergies. There's less pollen in our air.
Yep.
I guess we traded it for the dust.
Absolutely. You know, so with all that said, I would definitely say like for a better quality of life, compared to what I've been used to, I've lived in lots of different places. I've been all around the country. I definitely feel that Arizona is one of my favorite places to live. I don't know if you feel the same way.
Oh, I absolutely love Arizona.
Yep.
Absolutely.
All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed our little conversation about the pros, the cons, and the in-betweens about living in Phoenix, Arizona. And like we said before, you know, we are getting calls every single day and helping people relocate and move to Phoenix, Arizona, and we absolutely love it. So if you are thinking about making that move, you've got to give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, days, nights, weekends. We got your back when making a move to Phoenix, Arizona. And until next time, we'll catch you later.
Yes.